Breaking news, new t-shirts. What? Yeah, like this. What do you think of that? What do you think of that? We're going to give some people some time to join us to join. So let's see. Let me open up that. Okay, so we got that go. We got this going. Are we? All right, this is going. All right. Seems to be working. And that's fun. Sean is here. That's all we need. That's all we need. How are you, Sean? How is your day going? I'm a little late. I usually try and do these things at 9. But I don't know. I figured you guys are cool. You might want to rest a little bit. I don't know. Hank, good morning. Nice shirt. Thank you. I'd say I made it myself, but I actually didn't in this case. But yeah, as you see, the new shirts have arrived. And also from what I've been able to gather, they're selling pretty well, which is kind of the point, and that's good. So we're happy about that. And I'm going to check right now. Oh, there goes the ice. There it goes. As I look at, so I'm on the Sully Guitars website where you can buy this shirt. And as I look, let's see what our stock levels are like. The XLs are sold out. We're out of XL, we're out of 3XL. So that means we've got some schmalls, some mediums, not many larges left. And we've got a few 2XLs left. So there's that. Brian throws down with a yo, Sully. I say yo to you. Yo. Yeah. So that's the deal with that. So the thing with the shirts, these were made designed by a guy named Casey Harris. You can follow Harris_art_co, C-O, for all of your design and merchandising needs. You guys, Perfecto's here. Hey, buddy, how are you? Casey is a pal and a client, and those things aren't mutually exclusive, or they, and I've been a fan of his design work for some time, and I'm like, hey, I'd like to have a new design, but I just don't know what. And then I made that trella that had the pinstripes, and we've done pinstripe trellas before, but in this particular color combo, totally reminded me of Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am. Completely unintended, but happy result. And it's funny, when that guitar sold, like Adam has these Trans Am, like the Fire Chicken stickers. And I almost put one like on the back of the guitar, but it's like, it's bigger than my hand. It was a good size. And I'm like, it's going to take up a lot of real estate. And, maybe its owner doesn't want that. I didn't want to make that decision for them because I've already made it. I had already made plenty of decisions on the guitar itself, with the pinstripes, going with the sullied kind of feel. And then I'm like, well, should I put it on the case? And I'm like, just settle down. But then it just, kind of sat in my head. And so when I was speaking with Casey, I'm like, I made this trella that was like, totally gave me this vibe. And we were just kind of spitballing. And he's like, well, we could kind of do a stylized Raven in that kind of look. So I immediately thought that was a delightful idea. And here we are. Now, as this stock dwindles, this will eventually go into, the design will go onto our threadless or normal merchandise page, which is sullyguitars.threadless.com. This shirt is not on that website. Because Casey's merch company is really, really nice. And so we made them through there. So then I just bought a bunch of shirts. Tammy. Yes, Jean did buy. I did notice that Jean had one come through. So Jean, the great thing about Jean is that he understands. Well, and the great thing about many of you that are in this, understand the importance of accessorizing. And I haven't seen the movie, but I saw this quote, and I believe it's attributed to Shirley MacLaine. And if Mrs. Sully can hear me in the kitchen, if she's actually, no, she's not in the kitchen anymore. Was it Shirley MacLaine and Steel Magnolias who said the ability to accessorize is what separates us from the animals? No, I believe it was Dolly Parton. Sarah says she thinks it was Dolly. I think. She thinks. Nobody knows. There's no way to find out. But so I'm going to go, since Dolly's a national treasure. I'm not saying that Shirley MacLaine isn't a national treasure, but Dolly's a national treasure. We should protect her at all costs. I'm going to attribute it to Dolly. And even if she didn't say it in the movie, I'm just going to say that she said it. So we got that ironed out. And so Gene understands that. And, so he ordered a shirt. So that's, see, now Sean McCloskey comes in with saying it was Olympia Dukakis who said it. Sarah says, could be. Nobody knows. Yeah. Okay, Mrs. Sully she's coming around. She's saying. Okay. So now that we got that settled, that is correct. God, I don't know my bell here. I used to have a bell. My bell is at the shop. I can't hear that, but that's okay. Hank says, and confirmed it as Sean did. Okay, so we have confirmation that it was Olympia Dukakis. Sean, you're in control of the board. Movie quotes for 500. It was like it was in stereo. Nice. So there are a couple of other color variants on this design that are super dope. And we're not going to move forward with them yet because I'm fighting my nature to just get everything out. So, but there are some color variants that we may do it in a batch. They may go into the Threadless store. And Casey and I also have another idea for another Sully kind of co-opted logo that I think is going to be fun. And that's all I'm going to say on it. So that's that. You can get this shirt, and you should, while you can, at sullyguitars.com/merch. Now, there is one thing, and I will put this, I will put a note in the shirts as they go out. Turn them inside out when you wash them. Turn them inside out. Turn them inside out. That was a note that was given to me. So turn them inside out when you wash them. This is washed, and it is glorious. It's a really nice printing. Couldn't be happier. So anyway, yes, get them before you can't. That is a comment worth sharing. Ooh, we have some international viewers. Rodrigo is traveling to Valparaiso as he types. Cool t-shirt. Hey, Rodrigo. I hope that, I have a feeling I know why you're going to Valparaiso, and I hope that everybody's all good. Talk about the shipping! Yes. So Dave, like many others, do not live in the United States. And So when I put this on the website, the Squarespace shipping options and all that stuff, I haven't, because I don't really use it too much for things. The ins and the outs of putting stuff in the merch store isn't quite second nature, and especially when it comes to shipping, you've got to make different shipping profiles and all that stuff. And the thing that is difficult for me to know is how much it's actually going to cost to send to another country. So what I may do is, well, I'm going to try and look into that over the weekend, probably tomorrow. And if I can figure out how much it's going to cost to send to a few different countries, I will do that. Worst case scenario, I can just do it outside of the site. In other words, like, I don't know. I'll figure it out. That's what I'm saying. I'll figure it out. Worst case scenario, once it goes into the Threadless merchandising store, they've got all that stuff already kind of sorted. So it'll be fine. It'll be good. So yeah, when I first got the thing in there, it was showing all kinds of like crazy shipping options, and so I just kind of had to shut it down to just in the US only for now. I'll figure it out. I got you. It's in my best interest to sell you a t-shirt. It's in my best interest to sell everybody a t-shirt, at least. So that is the deal with that. So Sean says, I'm going to make the excuse that I knew that, the Olympia Dukakis quote, because I married a Louisiana girl and Steel Magnolias is required viewing. LOL. You don't have to make an excuse for knowing that. You know what? Sean, I'm going to say that it's good to know a lot of different things. And so there. Here we go. See, now Gary is just a great problem solver. And an optimist. He is committed to making Australian lemonade from lemons, because he's in Australia. Worst case scenario, only smalls are left. I'll turn the t-shirt into a denim jacket back patch. Now that would be fun to see. I would kind of that would be a hoot. So that's that. Yeah. So that's the deal on the shirts. I love making these sorts of things happen. And because it's just fun. Who doesn't, like if you're in a band or whatever, or like if you get like custom picks made, it's just the best when they show up. And I know it's a total ego stroke, but like, it's just super fun, right? I mean, like, you've got your own picks with like your band name on them or whatever you want to put on them. That's the point. It's up to you. Why? Because they're your picks. So today's breakfast, today we have Oikos, zero sugar, vanilla, Greek yogurt with frozen berries thrown in. It's working out okay. So I'm happy about that. Dustin says it's the best kind of ego stroke. Yeah. Wait, what? Oh. Bob. People saw Musk's Starlink satellite go across the sky last night. I thought it was just the moment I opened my case and the lights hit the sparkles. Could have been. You never know. So then let's move to, so yes, wrapping up on the shirts. If you don't have one yet, and if you're in the US, and if you want one from the first batch, or if you just want one, get one. So we'll ship a bunch out on Monday, and Yeah, good times. So thank you for those who ordered some. And yeah, it is fun though. It's a fun little shirt. I like it. It's very comfy. So Hank's got the breakfast, the Hamilton Beach breakfast sandwich maker. I think I went through like 2 of them. They got a lot of use. It makes a damn tasty sandwich. So if you're in the market for a breakfast sandwich maker, I highly recommend you consider the Hamilton Beach breakfast sandwich maker. I get no compensation for that sort of thing, even though I should. So that's that. Conspiracy series. So the pre-orders are going to be closing soon, and we'll be entering in to the second phase. There's phases? There's phases? There are. So pre-orders, while they're wide open, You know, here's the menu. Order what you want. And then when the first phase ends, which is where we're getting to, I think we're going to do that on the 20th. What we'll do is kind of shut everything down, sort of, so then I got to go through all of the orders. Thank you to those of you who have ordered and are watching. Thank you to those of you who ordered and are not watching. So I go through all of those orders, and then I start figuring out how many extras I'm going to order. And then from those extras, there's going to be a certain percentage of them that will be made available that people can still pre-order. So I think that's easy enough to understand. This is what I did with the last pre-order. Because invariably, whenever the pre-orders close, that's when you're going to get like, oh man, I missed it. I don't want that to happen for anybody. And I can't, keep pre-orders open forever, because then that's just not the solution. So you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both in there. Yeah, the facts of life. The facts of life. So we'll close it down, and then we'll make a few things still available to be ordered. What do you think about that? I think that's going to be good. I'm excited with this batch that we planned out. Certainly the most feature-loaded conspiracy series run. Not that the previous ones weren't, but we added more options, like things that I had been holding back. So, yay. And once that's done, now I think one of the things that we're going to be able to do in the future are little mini runs. And that could be cool, especially for if I can finally corral enough left-handed players to agree on a design. Maybe we can do a little mini run of that. And because I think that's good. Two Sully Guitars artists are left-handed, and I want to make sure that other left-handed folks have options. They have options. There's many options. We live in a world full of options, but I want to make sure that they have Sully Guitars options in the left-handed orientation. Lefty Concords. Who knows? Again, it really kind of depends on how many I can corral into one place at the moment. And yeah, because I mean, I can't. Well, I don't want to say that. My nephew once told me years ago that "can't" is the real C word. Um, and wherever he got that from, I don't know. I'm just gonna say he said it. You know what? I'm gonna say Dolly said it. No, I'm not. She wouldn't. Well, she probably would. Who knows? Nobody knows. I don't foresee, like if we do when we do like a standard run like right now, I don't really foresee like here are the with the trellis we've got the Sunset Burst and the Wine Mom trella in right-handed orientation and then left-handed orientation. I don't foresee that happening. But that could just be my own short-sightedness. Who knows? I am short-sighted. That's why I wear glasses. But anyway, little mini runs to where we might be able to do some different quirky stuff. There were a couple of, there was at least one guitar that I was planning for this run that's quirky, and a variation on a model that we have that is in a configuration that we don't offer. And it was cut because we wanted to make sure that the run was nice and focused, and the more options you have, the likelihood of analysis paralysis increases, and I don't want that. Nobody does. Nobody wants analysis paralysis or any other kind of paralysis for that matter. Paralysis, in my opinion, is not good. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. But so things like maybe a little lefty batch, maybe some Raven basses. Ooh, I would like to see some Stardust basses. I've made one and they're cool. It could also be, maybe we can, I don't know. I'm going down this whole rabbit hole thing. One thing I don't know that we're going to do in the conspiracy series again are 7 strings. Or, I don't know, maybe I just need to do a more standard 7-string model than like a Raven. I don't know. It's like, we're often asked for 7s. And I'm like, yeah, we do them. But anyway. Oh, Gene. Yeah, he did. He's confirming his t-shirt order. See, can't afford another guitar, although I like the red 622 FR. Something about it screams pick me. Well, that one that we just posted was not an FR. That's just a 622 without the Floyd. The FR is the old, means Floyd Rose. But there is a batch of 622 FRs in the process right now. And since there aren't any completed, we've got to use, 622 photos to just go, hey, imagine this with a Floyd. Wouldn't that be sick? And it would. And in this little batch is one that I just spec'd out just for funsies. And it is, if you saw my Instagram stories the other day where I was testing out a new neck machining strategy, because one of my quests is to remove unnecessary handwork, and the unnecessary handwork on a 622 neck is there was still a fair amount of it. So so here is the comment. This is I'm just gonna leave this up. I'm gonna leave this up for a minute. And I know that you're not saying this in an exasperated kind of people are the worst kind of manner, and I'm not taking it that way. However, it is true. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So if you were had seen in my stories when I was working on this neck machining, it was a way to alleviate, reduce the unnecessary handwork. It makes the process of making the neck itself a little bit more involved. There are more steps. One of the things that I try to avoid is, and I'll spare you this because it will kind of get in the weeds pretty quickly. The more you take something off of the table and back on, you don't want to do that. You want to minimize that as much as possible. Yeah. And this new process, it does involve some of that. But where previously, yeah, I'm just going to have to just kind of run you through this. I'm just going to run you through this. So the way that the 622 necks were made, and well, they still are because there's programming I'm going to have to carry over. But like the test that I did yesterday, the other day before, I don't even know when, was successful. So I got to migrate over to this. So the blank is on the table. That's what this means. The blank is on the table and it's surfaced. We run a fly cutting bit down the surface of it to get it nice and flat. And then two little pins, two sets of locator holes at the kind of, well, who cares where, are drilled. And then the perimeter around the bottom of the heel, just a little safety cut, is done. And then the truss rod channel is done. Up until this point, this is all we would do. Well, okay, so at this point, the top parts are done. And then we would take this neck blank and then take it off the table, flip it over. And so since we've got those locator holes in the neck blank, those index into the table fixture. So that's in the spot where it should be. So everything should line up. And then when it's face down, we drill the tuner holes because that bit that was in there, the bit that we use for the truss rod is the bit that we use for the tuner holes. So like, why change the bit if you don't have to? And then there's this little pocket that that we do to protect the point, like when it's cutting out the hook and the headstock. When that's done, we do a rough profile cutout, and then the back shape is done. And then the final smoothing profiles are done. And then for all intents and purposes, previously, up until now, that neck shaft is done. So then we go make the fretboard. So similar to like the neck blank, the blank goes on the table, surface it, locator holes go in the back, gets flipped over and located and indexed into the table. And then we do the inlays, get the inlays in, and then we radius the fretboard. So that takes care of putting the radius in the fretboard and leveling your inlays, because the inlays are taller than the actual pocket they go into. And then, and then we just kind of go on with the rest of it. We cut the thing out, or the nut slot is done. It gets cut out. Fret slots, that's the last thing because that takes the longest. The spoke wheel adjuster is done. So, and then once that's done, we can just take the fretboard off and glue it to the neck shaft. When that's done, we still have to do like the little swoopy down part of the headstock. Now, up until now, this was sort of done by hand. And what I mean is, let me just grab a 622. I just happen to have one right here. When I talk about the swoopy down part, I'm talking about this part right here. So this was as thick as this at one point. Well, as thick as this football goes on. And this little part, we would kind of do. So I would take the neck, and I would measure this. It's 9/16, give or take, and then I would kind of put the fly cutter bit on the CNC and just turn the thing on just so it's spinning, and then I would move this underneath there to kind of level it out. And as I'm moving this, I'm not talking like the guitar, like the neck is not bolted onto the guitar or anything crazy like that. And then I would just leave material from like here to here, and I would kind of like step it down a little bit, and then this little curve is made on like the spindle sander, and it's all, I would kind of like draw a line here, like where I want this to terminate, and then we just do this on the spindle sander, and holding this because this is not square. It was just, it's a pain in the ass. So that's one of the unnecessary handwork that we want to get rid of. So with this new process, since you asked, the neck starts out the same with one exception. We started adding carbon fiber rods. What? Hey, Sully, why'd you do that? I'm in the fashion business. And so neck goes on the fixture, or the neck blank goes on the fixture. Fly cut it, locators, carbon fiber rod slots, truss rod slot. Profile for the heel, truss rod slot. Why do you do it in that order? Because because it cuts cleaner that way. And an oversized profile cutout. Profile is like a perimeter. I stopped there. Is that what I did? No, that's not what I did. I turned it over like I had been before. Cut the back shape, tuner holes, the little screws for the tuner. That was another thing that I didn't really have set up. I really don't like drilling tuner holes at all. And I know there's jigs and whatever to do it. I just whatever. And so we get the back shape. We get tuner holes. We get the back shape. So we still have something very similar process-wise to the previous process or process, however you want to say it. I don't judge. Here's where things get different. We go to the fretboard side, blank on the table, fly cut it, nice and flat, locator holes, do the spoke wheel hole, cut it out slightly oversized. And then you know what we do? Take that thing off, glue it to the neck shaft, flat. So then, there are also, when I flip the neck over to do the back shape, it puts an index hole in the heel and an index hole in the G tuner. This is important. So we've got this neck shaft with a back shape in it, and this fretboard, which is cut out to shape oversized, but it's flat. We then glue the fretboard to the neck shaft, and then before it goes, no spoilers. And then when that's done, put a straight edge on the fretboard. Why is this important? You'll know in a second. Put a straight edge on the fretboard. Make sure that the neck is straight. Use truss rod. Make sure that is straight. What was interesting, and I don't know, because I use water-based glue, Titebond. I'm not going to get into glue discussions. This is what I use. Titebond 1. Because it's a water-based glue, we're introducing what into the equation? That's right, water. What does water do to wood? Yes, it gets it wet. It also makes it move around a little bit. What I found interesting is, and I don't know if this was because of the carbon fiber rods, or, I mean, it makes sense that it was, because usually what happens when you introduce moisture into this equation, the neck reacts, and sometimes it will either give you a little bit of up bow or a little bit of back bow, so you got to straighten it out. When I tell you this, when I just believe me, when I tell you, why wouldn't you? I'm telling you the truth. I was really surprised that when I was at this point, and then I put my little straight edge, and this was this process. So I started Wednesday afternoon, left for the day with the fretboard glued to the neck shaft. Thursday morning, I come back. I put the straight edge on this flat fretboard, dead fucking straight. Oh, well, isn't that exciting? So then this all goes on the table again, the index holes in the heel and in the G tuner. And then we do the rest of the fretboard machining. Bonkers. That's right. So I did the inlays, put the inlays in, did the radius. Next thing I did, I had to do some programming. So I figured that while I'm programming, it can do the fret slots. So it did that. And then, so I needed to do the drop down this is obviously a maybe it's not obvious. This is a non-locking nut. Just got a little nut right there. I needed a platform for a Floyd Rose locking nut. So this is one of the reasons why we do this oversized, is because when you're cutting this pocket out, or even if I was just cutting a nut slot on the machine, it's going to blow out this side. So we want it to be oversized, so when it blows it out and is trimmed to its final shape, it's nice and clean. So I had to figure out we did the swoopy bit next, and I had to figure out, there's this surface that it machines, and I had to figure out where I wanted it to terminate and all that stuff. So I did a test, and it turned out great that I needed to scoot it back a little bit closer to the nut, which is good because it's always easier to remove wood. You can't put it back. So I got the swoopy part done, and then we did the Floyd platform, and then the final profile. And I had to make it oversized down here because there's a spoke wheel adjuster at the end of the truss rod, at the end of the fretboard. And what I really didn't want to have happen was have the bit come and go right into the truss rod adjuster. So this was one of those things where I made sure it kind of came out, the bit kind of came out down here. That was, just out of the way, out of the way, out of the way. Do I believe that it's truly out of the way? No. Why? Because I'm me. And I've met myself, and, I'm still like, oh, don't hit it, don't hit it, don't hit it. I'm like, oh, phew. And then I go back and I confirm, like, it's not going to hit it, it's not going to hit it. I'm like, previewing it. I'm like, no, it's not going to hit it. But still, no matter what, it's coming around. I'm like, no, I'm not going to hit it. And it didn't, because it's not going to. So anyway, so that particular neck is perfectly viable, which is great. And so that is going in one of the 622 FR. See, this all ties together. It's going into one of the 622 FR bodies. FU Tone is watching. Ooh, I need to order a bunch of trims for you, sir, because the Michael Sweet Concords are going to be coming back to me very shortly. And what do I need for those Michael Sweet Concords? That's right, FU trims. I will email you Monday. And so, But so this neck that I made, I figured that I would, if I'm going to do something a little bit different already. So the 622 FR body that I made and is painted, it was definitely Catfish, sullyguitars.com/merch XLs are already sold out, but I remember that I think that you enjoy the Dos Equis. So I'm one of the 622 FR bodies I made it out of swamp ash, just because I thought it would be fun, and I happen to have swamp ash on hand. So, and when I was trying to figure out, like, well, nobody owns this, what color are we going to paint it? I'm like, let's do it like the green meanie kind of deal, but like relict. So it's, it may not be the exact color, but it was, it's like a slime green over white that's worked away in certain areas. And so when I made this neck, I thought, well, the 622s, they all have dot inlays. Let's make this one have slashes. And I've got green acrylic. And I'm like, okay, but before you make the green acrylic, put it on the body and see if it matches. Because one of the things that I don't care for is, like, if you're gonna do, you've got like a body color. Let's say you're making a red guitar, and Dan, how are you? Let's say you're making a red guitar, and then you want to have red inlays. If those two colors, if they don't match, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Drives me. I'm like, I think it's better off not to match, or not to do it if it doesn't match. So the green acrylic is definitely in the, it's close enough. It's in that range. So like, okay, cool, we'll use it. So, and then I'm going to, now one of the other things, obviously this was, influence, a very Steve Vai influenced thing. And what's also kind of interesting is that, like the original Green Meanie, which was Grover's personal Strat that he loaned to Steve, it was made out of swamp ash. So you're putting an Invader in the Alita. Oh my goodness, look at you. So like, it's obviously going to be very, Steve Vai-ish, especially because, like, the neck, I just made it out of just plain maple. We do a lot of roasted, but, like, I don't know. I think it just needs to be plain maple with a maple fretboard. And so the pick guard, we made this 1622 that was silver, and we made an aluminum pick guard to go with it, and it looks dope. That guitar is available via Sinister Hand Guitars in Denver. So I have been making more, I have been having more things made from aluminum lately, like some plates, and I'll get into some of that later. But I figured, why don't we make a black anodized aluminum pickguard for this guitar? Because that would look rad. And but now here's my dilemma. Pickup configuration. Now, to complete the whole thing, some might say the only answer is you got to go humbucker in the bridge, middle single coil, humbucker in the neck. And that's fine. But that's not my first choice. For like a 622, I think they should all, they shouldn't all, but like hum slanted singles. So then I'm like, oh, I really like that though. That makes me happy. So like, I was thinking that I would, so you've got this obviously very Steve Vai guitar with obviously very Jake kind of pick configuration, but I haven't committed to it yet. I haven't ordered the pick guard yet. So maybe I got to get two. So yeah. My Charvel has a black anodized pick guard and it looks bananas. You've got my vote. That's all I needed. That's it. Just one vote. That's it. Yeah, dude, I've been experimenting with, well, as you see on the current conspiracy series run, the Concorde, there is a version that has the, plates, like a pick guard plate and a string through plate that I designed specifically for the Concorde body. And so I had some made out of brass, and that's cool. But the thing with brass is like, you got to polish it. And then once you polish it, you got to clear coat it if you want it to stay looking nice. And if you're going to, like, I want it to look nice. I love anodized aluminum over plastic any day, says Kenny. Well, yeah, I hear you. The company that I used, like, I had like cavity covers and stuff made too, and for whatever reason, like, it's the same file that we use to laser our control cover plates and all that stuff. The exact same file. They did not come out in the right shape. So I think that, well, that's a bummer, but yeah. But anyway, so I had these brass plates made, and we polished them, and I'm like, oh, I'll just clear coat them. I can do it. It's fine. But then I'm like, when are you going to actually do that? When are you going to actually do that? When you do that? That's a good point. So I figured I would try and find a local, like, plating company that could kind of take care of that. And that was like end of June. It was just a debacle. Turns out they weren't really set up to do it. But they took the order nonetheless, and it came out okay. But so I had been experimenting with those plates, and then I had some black anodized aluminum ones made, and they need some more tweaks. And it's one of those things like, man, I wish that there was somebody local to me that I could kind of do this and just go, hey, just run this real quick, let's see where it is. No, make that tweak, whatever. Like how when I designed those plates to begin with, let's just laser them out of acrylic real quick, and let's put them on and see if this looks good or if this is a big, dumb, terrible idea. So, but anyway, that's my idea with this 622 FR that I have. The thing's going to be really cool. Somebody should buy it. You know what? I'll say, if somebody watching this messages me and says, yo, man, tell me about this green slimy thing, because I might want to buy it, I will, you'll get $100 off. I mean, it's probably going to be like $2,400. So you could get it for $23. Mention promo code I love Sully. So, yeah, yeah. But so it's been an interesting week. We got this process tested, and it's successful. It isn't the exact process that I'm working toward, but that's okay, because the end result was the same, and that's good. I gotta get rid of the unnecessary handwork, and I know that might go against the whole like boutique, bespoke, custom artisanal guitars, but like I don't care about that stuff. I don't. What I want to do is make the best guitar that I possibly can, and get rid of the obstacles that are obstacles. So Roberto Castro says, hi, Sully. Hi. Let's see. Okay, yeah, got that. Okay, yeah. I just want to make sure that I haven't missed any comments. Oh, let's see. Picked up some nice logs of sycamore and red oak today, courtesy of our local council. Oh, that's cool. Get some guitar bodies out of. Yeah, you're gonna have to wait a really long time. I'd make some small bodies out of those things, or hollow them out, because that's probably gonna be pretty heavy. But I don't know. Your mileage may vary. That's cool. What else we got? Oh yeah, but no, I had a really good week. So yeah, progress with the 622 FR next. But the nice thing is like, okay, so we get the thing off the table, and it's just a little sanding cleanup. You know, we got the frets in already. Got the glow in the darky side. That was the one thing that I was on the fence about. So I had this green acrylic, these green acrylic slash inlays. And as we're gonna do the side dots, you know, I made the slashes out of green acrylic. I could make green matching side dots, which I kind of think I, you know, should do, but we've generally, I mean, except for like a stock 622 just has black plastic side dots. Or if it's got a dark fretboard, it gets white plastic side dots. I don't put lumen lays in them. Why not? Because. But I did put the glow in the dark green lumen lay side dot markers, so it's not going to be the same material, which kind of I was on the fence. But the glow in the dark markers are going to show up. I'm going to say in my mind, the glow in the dark markers are going to show up better than just green plastic, although they probably won't. I think really it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other, because it's on a maple fretboard. So like, maybe I should have just done the green acrylic. I don't know. Nobody knows. Either way, but whoever gets this guitar is gonna be like, no, I like the glow in the dark because I'm afraid of the dark. So that could just work out great for everybody. So that was really great. T-shirts showed up yesterday. That was really great. Adam is playing tonight. The Adam Nanez band is playing tonight at the Sanctuary. He is opening up for Greg Howe, and shrapnel dude, but he's been super busy and great player, and I believe the thing's almost just about sold out. So I am super excited. We're going to go see them tonight, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to that. He's such a great player, but one of the things that I, really like about Adam when when his band plays is like, he's a performer. Like he'll give you the business. And I like that because everybody needs the business. So, if you're, so give him the business. He's a really great performer, and I think that matters because instrumental guitar it's definitely a niche thing, and I know he's spreading out into all sorts of other musical options. But right now, his set tonight is just going to be instrumental, as far as I know. It's kind of a niche thing, and I remember 1990. Okay, we're gonna wrap up, and I'll leave you with this. This is how I wound up actually moving to Hollywood. In the summer of 1990, there was this tour called Stars and Guitars, and it was Motley Crue was the headliner, and Tesla, and Joe Satriani, and Bonham, and then Johnny Crash. And the tour came to Alpine Valley in Wisconsin, which that's where Stevie Ray Vaughan unfortunately passed. And so that was 4th of July weekend, and I went up there, and Motley was great. They filmed the Same Old Situation video there, and my buddy Roger, who often chimes in, if you watch the video for Same Old Situation, and towards the end, maybe last 30 seconds or so, there's a crowd shot, and there's a guy just giving double birds and sticking his tongue out. That is my buddy Roger. But anyway, so getting back to my point of instrumental guitar is a very niche thing, and Adam is such a great performer. So early in the day, Joe Satriani's playing, and this is 1990. And I remember watching him play, and it was the most boring. I didn't enjoy it. That's all. I didn't enjoy it because it wasn't a dynamic performance. And I will tell you that Adam is a very dynamic performer. So that's one of the things, like when we first started kind of like getting to know each other and I went and saw his band play, I'm like, oh, okay. So like you really show up. You really show up. And I like that. So I'm so excited to go to this tonight. So I've been looking forward to it all week. He thinks I'm crazy. I will meow his songs at him from time to time. Go meow, 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 meow. Yeah. So I'm just gonna be meow singing, and that'll be great. This will be a good time. Final thought. Podcast. I need to be friends with Chris Shiflett from Foo Fighters. Oh my God, we would be good pals. Why? I don't know. Well, we would. But I found he has a podcast called Shred with Shifty. And there's only a couple of episodes. I was listening to this one with Rivers Cuomo from Weezer. And I know this has been, it's common knowledge that he's got some serious shred roots. But like in this podcast, and I think it's also like a video podcast, but like Rivers is like talking about his influences, how he got into Yngwie, and then Chris is like, but were you able to like because I liked Yngwie, and this is very relatable. I liked Yngwie, but like I could not get going that quickly, and that was totally absolutely over here. And so he's like, oh yeah, no, I could. And, he's like, well, what were you playing? He's like, I don't know, like Far Beyond the Sun, like the one that goes, bam, bam, and then he fucking plays it just like, oh yeah, it's just this. And I'm like, oh wow. And so, so that was fun. And, but so check out that podcast. It's good. And it's interesting because like, I think Shifty and I are the same age, and we both moved to LA at the same, like he moved in early 90 and I got there in the last bit of 1990. It worked out a little different for each of us. But I know that we have I know we have one friend in common. So I'm not going to call him up and say, hey, can you ask Shifty if we could just be best friends or something? But it is kind of funny to know. I'm like, oh my God, I could call that guy. Just be like, hey, can we go hang out? Like, because that's what you do. Anyway, buy a t-shirt at sullyguitars.com/merch. This one, if you want it, you can get it. And you know what? You'll probably be glad you did. And remember, turn it inside out when you wash it. And have a lovely day. Buy a Conspiracy Series guitar. sullyguitars.com. It's like everything that you need is at sullyguitars.com, and nothing you don't. So, yeah. Have a lovely day. You look great, by the way. Bye. Oh, that's not how we end. I blew the ending. Though Sarah's asking me. We're still going, but I thought I had like a nice clean ending kind of, but ready to go, but I clicked on the wrong thing and we're still rolling. I'll probably just let this cut off. I totally blew it. I'm terribly sorry. I'd like to think that I owe you something a little bit better, something a little bit more. But then as I say those things, I think to myself, I don't know, this is kind of what they expect from you. I often, I'll listen to a podcast that I've been on, like the Fretboard Journal. I was on the most recent Fretboard Journal podcast. And like, when it's happening, I'm like, hey, this is going pretty well. I don't sound like a crazy person. I listen to it. I sound like a crazy person. But, so I had a real clean ending and I blew it. So sorry for everything.